Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Think Future. I'm Calabucas, and once again we're coming at you live from deep in the heart of Silicon Valley, California. We're talking innovation, startups, and the future, not necessarily those, and not necessarily in that order. So, let me ask you something. What's your story? Huh? What's your story? Because that is the key to everything that you do. Everything that you do, everything that's about you, everything that you talk about with others. See, I hear this a lot. Some people say, well, this startup is the same, my startup is the same as this other startup doing the exact same thing. And this is doing the exact same thing, and this one's doing the exact same. I'm in a super crowded market with all sorts of startups. Well, first of all, that's a good thing, right? There wouldn't be, if there's a market for it, there wouldn't be a whole bunch of other companies doing the same thing that you're doing. So that's good. I mean, think about it. If you were doing something that nobody else did, then would your customers even understand what you're doing? It might take a while for you to teach them, to get them to understand what you're doing. Because if you're doing something that's totally new to the world, then how are you going to get them to understand what you're doing? Because it's never been done before, right? But if you can say, oh, I'm the Uber for this, or I'm the Airbnb for that, or I'm the whatever, for whatever, then the metaphor kicks in and they'll understand, oh, that's what you are. That's what you are. But if you've done something completely new to the world, it's very difficult to do that. But I digress. What I'm trying to say is that the thing that's unique about your startup, which makes it completely different from every other startup on the planet, even if you do the exact same thing as company B, C, D, E, and F, is you. You are the differentiator. Your story, how you got to where you are, what experiences you had, your subjective reality is really what you have to imbue your startup with. Maybe not just your subjective reality, but maybe the combined subjective reality of all of your co-founders. This is what you need to imbue your startup with in order to sell it. It's basically your story, your personal story or your combined story. That's what people are buying. You're not selling a product. You're not selling a service. You're not selling a thing. You're not selling SaaS software. You're selling yourself, your co-founders, to them. That's the thing that a lot of people don't get, is that we really aren't in a B2B, B2C world anymore. We really are in a P2P world where I'm pitching myself to you. I'm not pitching myself to a company. I'm pitching myself to a person at that company. It's the person at that company who's going to be making the decision as to whether or not they're going to use my startup or my services or whatever. So it's person to person now. So since it's person to person, you don't want to hear these cold, hard facts about what I can provide to you. No, you want to hear about me. You want to hear about the person that you're going to be working with. You need to know that everything else is table stakes. Yes, you can provide the exact same services as all of your competitors, but you can't provide the exact same experience that this individual person working with you will be able to do. That's why I think it's really amazing that most of the people who I know who are innovators, they really came from amazingly different backgrounds. Amazingly different backgrounds. If you go over the last set of shows I've done, and I think I'm this is show 419, right? If you go back over the last 400 shows and look at the interviews that I've done with all these innovators, it's an amazing set of backgrounds. Some people, were army brats and they were moving all over the place. Some people, were living in the same place, but they worked at different companies. They had all sorts of different experiences. Some people were consultants. Some people were coming from marketing. Some from technology. Some from all over the place. And the one thing that's constant with all of these people, all of these innovators who've come up with fantastic new products and services, fantastic new innovative ideas, is that they have a huge diversity of background and are open to new opportunities. New opportunities is the thing that makes the difference, right? And it is their backstory. It is their story, their personal story, or a combination of the founders' personal stories, which is the thing that you're selling. So next time you pitch, you're not just pitching your product. You're not just pitching your service. You're pitching your story. And as long as your story is a good story, and it is a good story because it's your story and it's different from everybody else's story, then you should be able to pitch your story and get that business.